Gilgeous-Alexander on the drive, pulls back, baseline, jumper's good! OKC with their first lead of the second half. Williams has been hot all night, falling away, got it! 40 points for Jalen Williams. 28 remaining, Holmgren down the lane! A Holmgren hammer, and it's back up to a dozen.
This is Lu Dort. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Sunday, March 29th, on the heels of another Thunder victory, 111-100 over the New York Knickerbockers. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. Got my guy, Nick Crane, with me.
Yellow. Give me a sec.
You're supposed to wait till we plug the sponsor.
Well,
we got Justin Peabody.
Hello, everybody.
I thought you burped in the middle of that. We are brought to you by the Blue Wire Network and our friends over at Prairie Artisan Ales. Go ahead and take a drink now, Nick.
Yeah, tell us what you're sipping on there.
This is different than the usual. This is the Prairie Transfusion.
Oh,
and
is that got
as
some
it should?
It,
it has a bunch of golfers on the front of the can because this is very much a golf drink. And as I'm drinking it, I'm realizing I might need 12 or 16 more of these for next time I play golf. Not for the next round. I'm not drinking 12 transfusions next time I golf. I'm saying I live out of state, and so next time I stock up on Prairie, I'm going to get a bunch of transfusions
there you go.
for golf. Just to clarify.
Nick, come up to Oklahoma City. You can get some of those drinks. Are they beers?
Yeah.
It's transfusion's a cocktail.
Yeah.
But Prairie does a couple of these. They call them brewed cocktails.
It is a cocktail-inspired malt beverage.
Interesting.
By definition.
We'll come up to OKC, grab some, and then you and I will go play around a golf.
Dude, I want to go to that place that has the 9-hole.
It was fun.
I'm down. I'm very down.
TP cracks me up. I've obviously never golfed before. Silva and I, 30 yards out from the pin, go to chip at about 15 yards. Taylor, 30 yards out from the pin, pulls out the 5-iron, the 5 hybrid, just blasts that thing 60 yards past the green.
Grip it and rip it.
What'd you say?
Grip it and rip it?
I don't know if you're allowed to say that on the show. It's after 10. We're all right.
I'm a big P wedge guy. I'll use a P wedge when I probably should use, I don't know, a 7 or an 8, just because I'll be short on it, but I feel more comfortable with my accuracy. And when you're a 100+ golfer, the objective is going straight in the right direction. And yes. I will take short in the right direction over long the wrong direction.
Same, buddy.
Noted.
Same.
Golf pod.
Rather be short and straight than long and wrong. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right.
Wow. How do we come back from that?
Joining us if you're on the live stream tonight for a late show. The game didn't get over. It was a later Sunday night tip. And then I had to get home from the arena. So kicking this one off a little bit later. So thank you guys who are in the chat hanging out with us. We really appreciate you. If you're rewatching this on YouTube after the live stream, we appreciate you as well. And those of you who download the podcast on your favorite podcast apps, thank you for that. Make sure to sub to the YouTube channel, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Also, want to give a quick shout out to a few people. Number one, met a listener playing pickup today. I was just walking up to put my shoes on to play, and some dude was like, "Yo, what's up?" And I said, "Hey, no clue who this guy is, but I'll dap you up." He said, "You're Jake Niffen. I listen to the show all the time." And I was like, "That's wild. That's cool." Awesome. So shout out to that dude. If you're in the chat, say what's up.
You still hooping Sabrina's?
Yep, I still got my 2s. Was Josh Hart wearing the teal 3s tonight? Was it someone on the Knicks was wearing the teal 3s? I don't know how I like the 3s.
I think the ones are the best. I think
I've never worn the ones. Maybe I'll have to.
They're the closest thing to Kobe 6 that you can find that's not Kobe 6.
So that was my first shout out. Second shout out. Sat behind a Knicks fan tonight. Absolute pleasure. Awesome dude. I don't know his name. Awesome dude. Really fun time to chat with that guy while the game was going on. He feels about Jose Alvarado the same way I feel about Lu Dort, which is each dribble is one dribble too many. Fun guy to chat with. Third shout out, there was a drunk woman sitting next to me at the game tonight. Very, very drunk. Can I tell the story real quick?
Yeah.
Her and her boyfriend show up. Boyfriend, jacked. I'm talking like biceps thicker than my neck. All right, just jacked.
Is he wearing a cutoff shirt, like a jersey?
No, he was wearing a t-shirt and some jeans, but it was like a tight t-shirt. Jacked.
I can envision the exact archetype.
They show up almost the end of the first quarter. They're there for about 10 minutes. They leave. She comes back hammered. He comes back. She's like standing up, falling around, kicks over somebody's drink, just being belligerent. And some people are getting pretty upset and want her removed from the game. Guy behind us, I think, was trying to egg her on. Had the little stick clappy thingies that you blow up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Was kind of clapping him over her head a little bit. She turns around, snatches it from him, pops it, and throws it.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. And then he got in her face, and I was like, her boyfriend's big, dude. He might, like, KO you.
That's where I thought this was heading.
Usher shows up, says, hey, come with me. They leave.
Did he sing?
Boo.
Jacob hadn't even processed it yet.
Nope. He didn't
Nope.
get it.
Can't remember what I said. They leave. 20 minutes later, she comes back. Starts walking down the row. Is mad that everybody like tried to get her out of the game.
Came back for revenge.
Dude, she's walking down the row, straight up field goal kick somebody's drink.
What?
Yeah. And then she's over there standing and screaming and going crazy. And the usher's like, get her. And so our buddy Carrie is
shout out Carrie. That's the most important shout out, to be honest.
Shout out Carrie.
Shout out
I don't
Carrie.
know how I missed the Carrie shout out. Carrie starts tapping her on the shoulder. She doesn't do anything. Won't pay attention. No, she's getting kicked out. Won't leave. Finally, the cop shows up with her boyfriend.
Dude.
Boyfriend was super cool through all of it. Boyfriend goes down, grabs her, gets her out of there. The biggest problem, every time she was there, Thunder went on a run. Every time she left, Thunder let go of the rope.
Wow.
She came back. Shai hit that midi and then that three in the fourth quarter. And I was like, I think we just keep her here, guys. I think we just deal with it.
I'll vouch for her. That's funny.
Crazy experience.
Fun.
So
Love that for you.
She field goal kicked a drink?
Yeah, like it went everywhere.
That's awful.
And then the lady whose drink she kicked, like called her the B word, and it was wild.
I probably would have too.
Wild. And then the old man behind us was like really upset about just her existence. He might have been racist. He's like the old guy that brings the binoculars to the game.
Yes.
And then you remember the Vine era with the little crackhead kid that would bounce the basketball off his head and be like, yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? That's what this old man looked like. It was wild.
It's good. It's good. Sounds eventful.
You ever seen the video of the old man at the Warriors game? It's like flipping his glasses and you know what I'm talking about, Justin?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
What? I feel like that video goes viral every 6 months.
It is insane.
It's always with some caption along the lines of like, "This old dude's tweaking out."
I don't think I know what you're
going
talking
through
about.
his head, dude.
Not much.
It is the most insane basketball video I've ever seen.
I need to see it.
Okay, I'll find it. I'll put it in the Discord.
It's good.
Okay. All right, so that's my my story of.
All right,
watching
so
the
I
New
think
York
we've
Knicks.
covered the Thunder Knicks game. We can move on.
That's it. Thunder beat the Knicks 111-100 on the back of a Shai 30 ball that did not feel like that was what's going to happen tonight.
Materialized a 30 ball out of thin air.
He did. Some stats for you guys tonight. Knicks shoot 44% from the field. Thunder shoot 47%. Somehow the Thunder got up to 36% from three. Knicks took 35 threes. They shot 43%, which is awesome. Really good shooting night from them. Half of their shots came from the three-point line. Keep that in mind for the next stat. Free throw attempts, 38-17 in favor of the Thunder. Knicks fans, I haven't looked online. Knicks fans probably losing their mind at the free throw count. Drive inside if you want to get foul calls and don't just live out beyond the 3-point line. What else? Thunder lose the rebounding battle, but it's super close. Assists are super close. Steals are super close. Total turnovers pretty close. Thunder outscore the Knicks in fast break points, in points in the paint. Knicks commit 3 more fouls. And the Thunder were... Okay, that stat doesn't make any sense. Never mind, I'm not going to read that one. It says percent lead. Thunder 94, Knicks 1.
What app are you on?
That only gets you to 95%, buddy.
What app are you on?
Yeah.
I did notice several apps that I use regularly. Like, I don't know if the API feed to like the standard NBA line was broken, but like a lot of stuff was not working statistically tonight. Like I said, Shai played 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and had 4 points on one of the apps that I look at.
The chat correcting you also that the other 5% was ties.
Oh. I'm not a math guy. Nick, where do you want to start with this one?
We'll start with my biggest takeaway from the game that is not about necessarily the game itself, but more about general discourse as the season comes to an end. We will talk about this later in the show with the MVP race, the number 1 seed race, and the toxic nature that comes with all those things. Anybody that you scroll across tonight that has a tweet after the final buzzer of this game, early in the game, any tweet slandering Shai probably deserves it. He was awful. But any tweet after any tweet after the final buzzer that says Shai played bad with a screenshot of the box score, you should not engage with. You should realize that person did not watch the game and does not know ball. Because this was the epitome of, if you just look at the box score post game, not look great. 8 of 18 for Shai. Thunder didn't look great overall. But if you actually watch the basketball game that was on the television, or if you were there live in person, the Thunder don't win this game without Shai. And it was an MVP statement when it came down to it. So biggest takeaway was like, this is one of those you had to watch it to really understand it kind of games. And a lot of people are telling on themselves tonight on social media.
Shai in the fourth didn't miss a shot, was aggressive from the second he checked in, just swept the leg for the Thunder and ran away with it. Like this game was very much still in the balance when he checked in. The Knicks, what did they go on? Outscored the Thunder by 7-5, something like that to start the fourth. Kind of erased the lead the Thunder had built pretty quick. And Shai went in and put it to bed and was able to, like you said at the beginning, pulled a 30 ball out of nowhere. Compared to how it looked early in the game, it felt very similar to the previous game where the shots were just not going in for him. Shots he normally makes. Taylor made an observation on Twitter about the elbow tape returning for Shai. He's dealt with bursitis this season. Maybe that's flaring up. That would make some sense. Obviously, he said nothing. The team has said nothing, but watching that elbow tape is interesting. But regardless,
can we interject really quick there?
Sure.
I think Shai would probably play both games of the back-to-back either way if in fact the elbow is an issue.
Yeah.
But this is the epitome of the 65-game rule is so damn stupid. And a guy that's already on the 1 seed, that's already front runner for MVP, should feel comfortable taking the second night of a back-to-back off against Detroit on a Monday night. Even if
Detroit
it's on
team
Peacock.
that looks like they're not going to play anybody.
Yes. He should feel comfortable doing so to get his elbow right for the playoffs where the ratings really matter for the league. But he can't because the league has basically said you got to play the damn games if you want to win the awards.
Touche.
That's it. Continue.
Touche. OKC needed every bit of him down the stretch, and that's what he does. That's why he should also not only win MVP, but also Clutch Player of the Year.
That's a lock, yeah. Like that award.
It feels like it should be, yeah. He was incredible. I was looking up, what was it? So people in the chat were throwing out different numbers. The lead got down to 97-95 with 4:47 left. And then OKC ripped off a 10-0 run, which that'll do. A 10-0 run in the next 3 minutes. It's big time. The Knicks are good. Like the Knicks, I had an interesting thought going through my head because, Nick, I feel like you're pretty high on the potential of the Knicks. But the way the Thunder have played them, not even just this year, like the last couple years, they just don't feel scary to the Thunder compared to like there's a lot of other teams I would be more worried about in a potential finals matchup.
It feels like the Thunder are very well equipped to defend the Knicks.
Yeah.
And it was funny because go ahead, Nick.
There's one reason. And this is maybe it's a Mark thing, maybe it's a personnel thing. The Thunder are so good. If you have a top 3 player, especially if you have a top 2 player that is known for being soft, a head case, or if you make them think they're them, they'll do too much. I think about Minnesota in the West. I think about the Knicks in the East with obviously Cat with the Knicks and Randall with the Timberwolves. The Thunder are just so good against those kind of teams where if you...
And a coach that loves to crash out.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I think that's really it. Like the teams that are going to have success against the Thunder and the teams that did in the playoffs are like all of their top line guys are headstrong and they stay within themselves and they don't try to do too much. It just Cat is the reason the Knicks will never beat the Thunder in a series.
That's fair. Whenever the game started tonight, I looked at Carey and I was like, Thunder going 2 bigs against the Knicks, 1 big starting lineup. I was like, does Chet get the Cat matchup or does Hartenstein get the Cat matchup? And it was J-Dub.
None of the above.
They just went small.
Yep.
And it's incredible. It's very clear that their mindset against the Knicks with Cat specifically was let him shoot. Or sorry, don't let him shoot. With other guys, the rule was let him shoot. With Cat specifically, it was we're going to put a smaller guy on him so he can't step out and hit that 3. We're not going to let him catch that pick and pop just wide open. Try to force him down in the block, then we're just going to double.
Make a modern floor spacing 3 be traditional.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And he can play well down low, but going in the fourth quarter, he had like 8 points.
Yeah,
and that's what the Thunder wanted. And then the help almost always came off of Josh Hart. And Josh Hart shot the ball great. He's been shooting the ball great. I think he's like 17 of 20 in his last 2 games or something like that. It's crazy.
He's very good.
Yeah.
But I think when the Thunder look at the Knicks and other teams look at the Knicks, it's the same way other teams look at the Thunder. If Lu Dort hits threes and beat us, Lu Dort hits threes and beats us. But that's where we're cheating off on defense. That's what the Thunder did with Josh Hart tonight. He shot it great, and the Knicks lost the basketball game.
Yep.
Speaking
Mike
of,
Brown,
I guess that's a good transition there. Go ahead.
Mike Brown having 2 technicals this season and them coming each against the Thunder is pretty funny to me.
I agree.
You
I
can
think that was
feel
a good
this one
transition
coming.
to go to Lu Dort. I've been ragging on the dude. Pretty good game tonight.
Pretty good game.
I thought he defended well, and I thought, to me, very clearly in team conversations, film room, whatever. Some conversations about offensive roles, because he hit that first three, and I said, oh boy. He hit a three, then he hit another three, then he had a put-back dunk, and then he came out and he pulled another one, and he missed that bad boy by about 6 feet. And I was like, here we go. He made the first few, so he's just going to chuck them. Took no off the dribble mid-range shots. Whenever he would catch the ball, he would swing it. Off a closeout, he would one dribble and then move it. I thought he was very good offensively in staying in his role tonight.
That is, I think that a lot of times is it for him. It's knowing when to defer and when to. It's also the shot diet with him. When he starts taking a lot of middies, that's when you get nervous, or driving to the basket where he just, it can feel reckless at times. I think the choicefulness was on display tonight. Low volume, 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from behind the arc.
Good efficiency.
Yeah. Good efficiency, low volume, I think is an ideal place for Lu Dort on this team.
If I was a defense, I would just close out so insanely hard on Lu Dort and force him to pump, fake, and dribble.
Mm-hmm.
I would not play off, because he will kill you, and he has killed people. Sounds horrible. He has made a lot of threes against teams.
Lu Dort's killed people. That's the headline.
You don't want to like play up on him, because he's not going to dribble. He's just going to swing it. But if you can just get him to think he can pump, fake, and dribble, I think that's the ideal scenario for an opposing team. I'm surprised it hadn't been deployed. I think there's only one time all night where he put the ball on the deck, and I was like, why? And I think only one time is probably a win in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely.
Smoot pointing out in the chat that having Dub back helps. Having especially when Dub has a game like tonight.
Yeah, Lou doesn't feel like he has to pick up some of that that offensive burden.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get back to some of those other Thunder guys. There's a handful more players I want to talk about. But real quick, the Knicks starting lineup was awesome. 10, 15, 15, 15, and 32 was how much points they scored. Then you go to their bench. Diawara, is that how you say his name? Diawara?
Yeah.
I told Carrie tonight that his last name sounds like if you like have a lisp and you're saying diarrhea.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You're never going to not think of that now. Diawara, 2 minutes, 0 points. Mitchell Robinson, 18 minutes, 3 points. He was 1 of 3. I do want it to be known that all 3 of those attempts were dunks. He made 1 of them. Jordan Clarkson, 2 points on 1 of 6. Jose Alvarado, 8 points on 3 of 10. Deuce McBride, 0 points in 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's going to be an issue for them, is just they have no depth.
You know, it's so, like, this is the most, again, basketball. I know you watched the game, obviously. You were there. But another reason that you can't just look at you said starters were great, and I agree. Like, they were great as a collective unit. They scored a bunch of points. New York starting lineup was a -12 with a -36 net rating and a 90.9 offensive rating, despite all the points. So it's just funny how hoops works.
Absolutely. Their whole starting lineup in the double-digit negative plus minus. Jose Alvarado at +6.
Mm-hmm.
So
that tracks.
There was a possession where that man dribbled the ball for 20 seconds. They ended up getting a bucket.
Yeah.
But I was like, brother, he's just out there dribbling the air out of the ball.
He gave him a little bit of juice, though. He gave him a little run.
Let's talk about J-Dub. 30 minutes tonight, which is wonderful. It looks like that minute count is continuing to climb.
Yep.
So that's great. His stat line tonight, 22 points on 7 of 11 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. That'll do for efficiency. 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal. Was a -3 in the game. But, guys, both ends of the floor, I thought J-Dub was awesome, incredibly forceful. his play of the game was digging out a steal underneath the basket and then beating all 5 Knicks down the court and finishing the layup, which is just
insane.
awesome.
I'm dead serious. If that happened 10 times, 6 times that ball dribbles off someone's foot.
Yes.
I have no clue how it didn't fall off someone's foot or get deflected or someone reach it.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable.
And then
Like,
3
I don't
of
know
the
if that
4
was more
times,
skill than luck. I don't know what it was, but holy cow.
3 of the 4 times he makes it through, he probably loses the ball when
Yes.
he goes up because he bobbled it on the way up too.
Unreal.
He kind of does that a lot, though, you know?
Mm.
He'll go up and he kind of like loses it and gets it and finishes it, which is
He's just showing off.
impressive. Pretty impressive.
The foot speed was great to see. The efficiency shooting was great to see. It was a vintage Dub performance. It's not like the world's greatest Dub performance, but those are the type of games that are exactly what this Thunder team has been missing.
Oh, yeah.
The
And the size and
aggressive
physicality.
downhill driving, decisiveness, like it's a dynamic that this team hasn't had. I don't know that there's anybody that puts AJ is really great at getting downhill and putting pressure on a defense, but Dub is just different. It's different when it's him. He's so strong. His wingspan on the other steal that he got, I forget who it was against.
Jose.
Yeah, it was Jose.
You got to poke out.
Jose was going around him, and I don't think he expected Dub to be able to get to that ball. He looked awesome.
Speaking of steals real quick, Kaysen Wallace only 15 minutes tonight, 5 points, a rebound, an assist, and a steal. I kind of like Kaysen on Brunson a little more than I like Lu on Brunson, I think. But Kaysen in the backcourt just straight ripped the dude. He missed the layup, but just straight ripped him.
Yep.
And he kind of does that to everybody's ball handler at some point in the game. Like he got Ant a while back. You remember that? Just straight ripped him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's good.
And I'm harping on this tonight, I know. Box scores. Brunson did play great. Brunson did have, 30? Was it 30 on the button? Or is it more than 30?
32, I think.
32.
Okay.
32 on 22 shots.
He had at least 2 3-pointers that were offensive rebound, kick out, wide open 3, or like lightly contested 3. And not to discount his game, but like that's close to a fifth of his points were just like catch and shoot off an offensive rebound. Because people are already on Twitter saying he cooked Lu, he cooked whoever. Just context. I kind of liked Lu on Brunson. I think both were great. I think that Kaysen's length was helpful. I think Lu, when Brunson's navigating screens, Lu is just getting through. And Brunson's a bully ball kind of guy. And I think that Lu is really, really good, like a really, really good counter for that. I don't know. You said earlier, Jacob, like fearing the Knicks. I just can't remember a game of late. We talked about Cat already. I can't remember a game of late against the Knicks where like Brunson was a scary force that was like, oh God, he's gonna take over. Like it just doesn't happen.
The Thunder just have so many guys they can throw at him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really interesting. Speaking of guys that you can throw at him, the box score is not gonna like look incredible. The plus minus isn't gonna jump off the page. Man, Alex Caruso just did Caruso stuff tonight.
I knew that's where you're going. Yep.
He did the type of stuff that just wins you basketball games.
The box out on Cat to win the rebound, and he got super fired up after that. Like just the absolute grittiest player this franchise maybe has ever seen. He's unbelievable.
Just a dog.
Who else could give you 6 points in 18 minutes and you walk away feeling like it, every single minute was incredibly impactful?
He just, no matter what he does on the basketball court, it's winning basketball. Like I was thinking about it because I played pickup today before I went to the game.
Channeling your inner Caruso.
You ever like play against one of those guys that obviously not Caruso level, but someone that plays like that in like a pickup or a rec league basketball game, and you're just like, does this guy ever stop?
You chill out.
Like,
I'm the opposite of that.
I know you are.
Nick plays pickup like Swaggy P.
Oh, he absolutely does. I love playing pickup with Nick.
A hoist.
My screen assist numbers through the roof when I play with Nick.
Question for you guys. Since J-Dubs, this is his fourth game back, I believe. Since his return, fourth game back, Jared McCain has 19 points in 4 games, back-to-back 0-point games, and 13 of his 19 came against the Sixers when he, like, let's call it what it is. It was kind of a game where they ran sets for him and wanted him to be good. I'm not saying McCain is not good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying McCain is not a part of this team, but just like if you look at the last 3 games, like Knicks, Bulls, Celtics, legit games that were either down to the wire or big. I get all 3 were frankly kind of close games, at least through 3 quarters. 6 total points in these last 3 games. Does this give you any more clarity or any more takes or projections on what he might look like in the postseason for the Thunder? Or is this 3 just games he wasn't hitting the shots and it's nothingness? Like, what's your take on that?
I think 11, 12, 13 minutes makes sense to me. There's just Aaron Wiggins was like an important factor in winning an NBA title, and he's racking up DNPs right now.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, when this team is fully healthy, there's just, I don't know who McCain gets those minutes over. AJ played 24 minutes. I don't know if that's enough.
Yep.
Joe and McCain played a total of 21 minutes. I mean, I don't think I'm taking Caruso off the floor. I thought Kaysen was fine tonight. I keep him out there.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
What's interesting is I would also you could probably put Joe in the same bucket. Like Joe had 15 against Chicago, but 3 tonight, 5 against Boston, 9 against Philly, 9 against the Wizards. And that's from deep. 1 of 4, 1 of 3, 3 of 6, 2 of 8. It has been both of them, which I think is tough. So it's hard to say that it's just a Jared McCain thing now that Dub's back, but I that's part of what leads me to feel like it's just an unfortunate slump by both of those guys, really, since Dub has returned. I don't know that it gives me any glaring takeaways. I think, Jacob, you said it well. I don't know who else you're replacing him with. But we saw it. We saw it all too well in the playoffs last year. You go on a 4-game shooting slump in the playoffs, and that could be how you lose a series.
I think the playoffs are going to be one of those things where those 2 shooters get run, and if they're hitting, you play them. If they're getting hunted on defense too much, you got to just take them off the floor. For what it's worth, it ended up like he turned it over. Jared McCain got an offensive rebound off of a free throw miss against a really big team in the Knicks. Like,
he was aggressive.
He's showing you some of the like he's been around the dogs long enough now that he's starting to bark a bit.
Do you think the Joe McCain lineup minutes distribution in the playoffs becomes more of an either or? Like, are they interchangeable pieces depending on matchup and game flow and who's playing well, to where it's like you have minutes for one of those guys, maybe some spare moment here and there where they're on the floor together, but I kind of wonder if the Joe Kane lineup in the playoffs goes away and it becomes one or the other, depending on who's got the hot hand, or like you said, who's getting cooked on the other end or not.
Flip side, what if they've already got the data they want on the Joe Kane lineup, and now it's keep it in the back pocket until the playoffs?
Yeah, that could be it too.
I don't know. There's some level of matchup dependency. You think about the Jose Alvarado, the Tyus Jones, like the small guards that OKC is probably comfortable putting McCain on, he may be favorable in the minutes column versus Joe in some matchups.
Yep.
Whereas if you play, I don't know, a team that starts two guards that are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", McCain probably is not seeing the floor. Just not. I hate that I said that now.
No, I'm sorry.
How dare you? Yeah, I think that's fair.
Absolutely. Let's close out. Real quick note to Hartenstein, 13 rebounds, only 6 points and 1 assist, but I thought he just kept so many possessions alive and was an absolute monster on the glass. Chet Holmgren tonight, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Was kind of invisible for stretches of this game, but I thought came up really big, especially at the end. Shai had a on the right side of the court drive kind of back into the lane, and then had this beautiful little slip pass to a cutting Chet for a dunk. Shai got pretty animated after that. I think it led to a timeout. Chet having to guard like OG Anunoby and Josh Hart for most of the night and not be around the rim as much. But I thought Chet had 16 and 9. If you told me he's going to get 16 and 9 on 50% shooting in the playoffs, like sign me the heck up, man.
Yep.
That's exactly what they need.
Absolutely. You'll take that. It's fun. It's a good win.
Good talk. Very good win. We want to do some trivia and then talk a little more about the rest of the season, MVP, 1 seed, how much I hate the Europeans.
Always.
All right.
Let's do some trivia, brought to you by Prairie Artisan Ales. New beer this week at Prairie. I really wish Silva was here because I think he's a Michelada fan. Chelada O Na Na is a new beer at Prairie. It's a Michelada-inspired sour ale. So go pick that up now at the tap room. You can watch the Final Four this weekend and have a great time. Good excuse to go to Prairie. You can also play trivia every Sunday afternoon. And maybe you'll do better than Jacob. Wow. All right. My questions for tonight are ridiculous, so I'm just going to warn you in advance.
Here we go.
First question. Victor Wembanyama is averaging 29.2 minutes per game this season. What is the least amount of minutes per game by an NBA MVP in league history? Least minutes per game by an MVP. Wemby is currently at 29.2. Jacob says 32.3. Nick says 31.7. The answer is 30.4. Do you know who it is? This is not a question, but just curious.
What year?
Well, that would be too easy.
Give us a decade.
In the last
90s.
decade.
Oh.
In the last decade.
Embiid.
Giannis.
Oh, surprising.
Giannis in 2019-20 played 30.4 minutes per game.
Wow.
So, given that is the closest MVP comparison in terms of minutes per game, and also like Giannis and Wemby is kind of an interesting comparison, which of the following stat categories does Wemby beat Giannis's MVP season in 2019-20? Points, rebounds, assists, stocks. Which ones does Wemby beat Giannis? Nick, with the quickness, says none. None of the categories.
I think it's none as well. I'm just gonna say stocks.
That is correct. It is stocks. Wemby has 4.2 stocks to Giannis only had 2 in his MVP season. Points, Giannis was 29.5 to Wemby's 24.2. Rebounds, Giannis was 13.6 to 11.3. And assists, Giannis was 5.6 to Wemby's 3.0. But what about advanced stats? Okay, the following advanced stats categories. D rating, these are cherry picked. This is where it goes off the rails. D rating, Defense is half the game. You heard it from Mr. Wembanyama himself. D rating, effective field goal percentage, win shares, and VORP. Which one of those does Wemby beat Giannis?
Defensive win shares.
Jacob says 0. Nick says win shares. The answer is 0. Giannis's defensive rating was 97 to Wemby's 101. Now there's context, but still 97 was a wild number to see when I was looking this up. Effective field goal percentage, Giannis was 58.9 to Wemby's 55.8. Win shares, this was the most interesting to me because I expected Wemby's to be higher. Giannis was 11.1. Wemby was 8.5.
It's minutes and games weighted. It's hard.
And VORP, similarly, 6.6 for Giannis to 5.1 for Wemby. What's crazy is, do you know what Shai's was last year? His win shares?
13.
17.
Jesus.
It's unbelievable. So, like I said, a heavily biased themed trivia segment tonight. I had one more question I was trying to craft, and I couldn't get the answer I was looking for. So this is not going to be a question as much as just the other thing I was trying to look up. Looking at the odds, there's been a lot of discussion about the MVP odds. SGA is currently minus 275 to win MVP. And I was trying to look up, is it? Did it go down again? This was like 5 hours ago. It was minus 275.
It was 320 last night.
Okay. It was minus 275 like 5 hours ago.
Isn't it crazy that keeps falling with no one playing?
I was trying to look up what were other MVPs odds on this date, which just turned out to be a really difficult thing to try to figure out. I found some articles like within a week. So I do have some interesting numbers. Like last year at this time, Shai was minus 900. 2 years ago, Jokic was minus 1,000. Pretty similar. You go back further, Jokic in 2022 was minus 120. The year before that, he was minus 107. Giannis in 2019 was minus 180. So Shai's odds are still higher than a lot of those guys. The most interesting parallel is 2023 with Jokic and Embiid. So on this date, at the end of March in 2023, Jokic was a plus 110 and Embiid was a plus 125. Pretty much even split between those two guys. However, the week prior, Embiid was minus 210 and Jokic was plus 275. That is like the closest comparison I could find to what's going on with Shai and Wemby. And then it flipped. And when it flipped was Embiid missed a game with a calf injury and Jokic went out and had a triple-double and the odds inverted and Jokic became the favorite. So that is all that to say, it's not out of the question that something like that happens in the last 8 games of the season. There's not a lot of precedent for it. You go back far enough, and it used to be illegal to have betting odds in the NBA MVP, so you can't go back too far on these statistics. Not totally unprecedented. However, I would say quite rare for something like that to happen. I would say also what's already happened is probably in the quite rare territory given how high of a favorite Shai was like 3 weeks ago. It'll be interesting down the stretch for sure. The end.
It's a full season award. It's a full season award.
That's my thing. If a player was minus 2,000 mid-March with the month left, even if he's minus 320 with 2 weeks left, if somebody's that overwhelming of a favorite for 90% of the season, not that he's been the favorite for 90%, but if we're 90% in and he's a heavy favorite, how much can 10% really mean?
Yep.
And we're talking about human beings voting here, and recency bias is real. So like, that's not
very much recency bias.
Yeah.
The thing that I think is interesting is I feel like this past 48 hours, you've heard more players and former players talking about it. And I think at least what I've seen and heard
Your
is
algorithm.
pretty, well, yeah, I'm sure, but pretty unanimously in favor of Shai. Like Reggie on the broadcast tonight on NBC was said basically exactly that.
Reggie Miller?
Yeah. Did you not catch that?
No, I don't. I didn't have sound on.
Yeah. They brought it up. They brought it up, and he said the same thing of like, Wemby's been awesome, but Shai's been otherworldly. Wemby hasn't proved anything yet. Like we haven't even seen him in the playoffs. It's too early. Like he'll have his time, but he's not there yet was basically the sentiment. And I would imagine that idea of like earning your stripes is a pretty prevalent idea, both with players, not that players vote, but I think legacy media as well. Well, I'm very interested. I don't know when the straw poll is going to drop, but I'm extremely interested for that article to drop because it's usually a pretty tight indicator.
Most MVP winners were they missed it the year prior before their first one, and they were second or third because there is like a welcome to the table.
You got to earn it. Yep.
Wemby is the exception to every rule that's ever existed in the history of basketball. So
if there's going to be a first, it could be him. Yep. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm with you. I'm with both of you though. Not a discredit to him, but he's gonna fill a shelf with MVPs by the time all is said and done. But I don't think he might win this year.
He might win 10 Defensive Player of the Years. Like if he plays 65, assuming that rule's around, I just don't know how a player is going to win over him ever.
Yeah, I think that rule is going away pretty soon.
I hope.
Do you? Are you anti 65?
I think it's baked. If you're an award voter, and everyone has different criteria, which you value, which is how it should be. There should never be a criteria they have to follow. I think that they should be able to bake in, and I think they probably do. Like a guy that plays 59 games versus the guy that plays 75 games, voters probably give the edge to the guy that plays 75. It's like what the rule. The rule was put in place not to be a precedent for the criteria to win. It was to get high quality players to play in front of fans that buy tickets.
Correct.
I think that's already baked into the equation.
The thing that I saw that was interesting, and maybe where you could argue, like even if you're in favor of having some kind of limit for what does or doesn't qualify you for an award, I saw this stat, and I almost made it a trivia question, but I didn't. Victor Wembanyama has played 1,725 minutes this season. So forget the number of games played. He's played 1,725 minutes. For reference, LeBron James, who has played only 53 games this season, has played 1,780 minutes this season. Cade Cunningham, who will be ineligible for every award, has played 2,096 minutes this season. So you're telling me you could give an MVP to Victor Wembanyama, who, when all is said and done, will have played less minutes than Cade Cunningham, but is ineligible because of the game rule. I think that is a hair worth splitting. That like maybe it's a minutes thing. I don't know where you draw the line
for sure. But then I don't know how many minutes Shai has played, but that's a good winning question. Big and sitting fourth quarters.
Yeah.
Then becomes a deterrent for, so it's
there's no good answer.
In a lot of weird spaces where they're trying to figure stuff out. The anti-tanking stuff is insane.
I agree.
Shai has played over 2,000 minutes.
2,070. He's played more than Cade. Or about the same. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't think the intent of it is bad. You can argue over the 65 number if that's right or not, but I don't hate the principle of having a number. I think nobody had a problem with this rule until players they really liked were on the wrong side of it, and now it's an issue.
It's fair.
Like Cade's very deserving, and I get it, and it's right to be bummed, but just because you're bummed for Cade Cunningham doesn't mean the rule's bad.
Switching gears a little bit because I mentioned lottery reform. I saw a tweet that said there should be like 10 different lottery reform options. And then at the end of each season, you just draw a number out of a hat, 1 through 10. And that's the rule set that you do the lottery for that year.
Just do the WNBA 2-year rolling, and it would all be fixed, I think.
That's just all the options they've proposed are just so convoluted and crazy and
terrible.
I say everybody just gets put in the hopper, and you pick 1 through 30.
No,
what could go wrong?
That'd be horrible.
I was going to say that I don't like
2-year rolling would remove the gap year tanks. It would remove the teams that are like, we could probably make a run at it this year, but there's just so many scenarios where just having 2-year rolling makes a lot of sense. And I think if you're a good team the year before that wants to sell off assets, like tanking that season is not going to benefit you for another year after that. It's like you're not going to be as, I don't know. I think there's easy fixes. Fix is not the right word. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but there's easy ways to make it a lot better.
And then you get really deep in the weeds with like, will the Thunder own somebody else's first round pick in 3 years? And that team thought it was going to be outside of the lottery, but now because we're expanding the lottery, it's going to be inside the lottery. So there's a chance you just gave the Thunder a number 1 overall pick. So would that have changed the way you would have organized that trade? If you make a lottery reform, do you have to wait to implement it until all traded picks, like you have to wait till 2031? And then what good does that do you? Right? Like that's interesting. It is a big old mess.
Big old mess.
But that said, there would definitely be some teams that get shafted for trading picks, thinking it's going to be one thing, ends up being another. There's plenty of times in history where CBA changes have the Thunder, the perfect example.
Don't we know it?
The Rose Rule. Like there's so many scenarios, cap spikes, where it's like, that's not what we thought was going to be happening, and it does. Like, and that's Presti's been vocal about that too. Like Presti has talked many times publicly that rule changes that happen don't always benefit you, and you have to hedge yourself with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And the Thunder were also the only team to vote against flattening lottery odds. I think part of this conversation, nobody was tanking like crazy to get Zachary Richeche. You know what I mean? Like, part of it is the draft class. The other part of it is if you don't flatten the lottery odds, then the worst teams get the best picks and get out of the lottery. And maybe another problem you have is the Sacramento Kings exist. You know, an 18-year-old's not going to come in and save the Kings. You need a couple of 40-year-olds who know how to run a front office. You need a new billionaire to run the Kings. An 18-year-old's not going to come in and fix that franchise, but I digress. Shout out to Kings fans, man.
Tough.
I pray for you guys.
What else you got?
League-wide stuff? You done with trivia?
Yes, indeed.
So I'll pose the question. 2 ways we can go with this. There's MVP discourse. We've kind of touched on that with Wemby's minutes and Shai's case. I think Jokic is still up there in the conversation at least. Luka, I think, is in the conversation at least. Jaylen Brown exists. I just think his case is the worst of anybody that's even in the conversation nationally.
Unless you're an old man on ESPN.
Maybe we push that aside and talk more 1 seed. So for those listening that maybe have not been as plugged in, the Thunder schedule the rest of the way is freaking tough. And the Spurs schedule is not that tough. So I'm just going to rattle off both teams' schedules remaining. Thunder have the Pistons tomorrow night. Then they have Lakers, Jazz, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Thunder. I'm sorry, Nuggets, and then Suns. So effectively, you're looking at
Thunder game is going to be tough.
You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 games left. 6 of them are against postseason teams, rather. 5 of them are against playoff teams as of today's standings. That's going to be difficult. Like, you basically got to bring it every single night.
The variable is when you get to this point in the season, you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah. And I think Detroit is a great example. Tomorrow night, they're not a full strength Detroit team.
100%.
And so on paper, yes, really tough matchup down the stretch, but in reality, like Thunder should win that game. And I think when you look toward the end of the season, who knows where the standings are, but like that 4-game stretch, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Suns could be all nothing burgers potentially.
Could be. Look at the Spurs though. They've got the Bulls, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Sixers, the Blazers, the Mavericks, and the Nuggets. So the 2 Nuggets games are going to be difficult.
The Philly game's kind of interesting because everybody's healthy now.
I don't know. They kind of suck.
I know, but I'm just
the Nuggets game is the last game of the season. Maybe it's not a game that actually matters. Maybe the Nuggets have realized they're locked into the 4th seed, and who knows? The Clippers, I think, are sneaky. Like, I don't think they're gonna like upset anyone in the playoffs, but like they've been playing phenomenal basketball. So you could effectively think of like 3 of their last 8 games are against teams that you could squint and see a way they could beat them. 2 are games that probably should be really competitive. The 2 Nuggets games. I think the Spurs will be favorites, if not multi-possession favorites in every game the rest of the way, as they should be. And so the Thunder, like, I think if you lose more than 2, you're probably cooked. You're probably the 2nd seed. If you lose 1 more game the rest of the way, you're safe. It just feels like they've got to just dominate these last 7 games. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on?
Well, they're 2.5 up right now. So if San Antonio wins their next game, then the Thunder are 2 up. San Antonio has the tiebreaker.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't think the Spurs are going to run the table. And so the Thunder are essentially in their own driver's seat.
The Spurs have won 23 of 25, 24 of 20, 23, 24 with Wemby. Like, which of those games, considering the Nuggets game is the last of the season, like, is the Nuggets game the only one?
I think the 2 Nuggets games, right?
Well,
yes.
one of those 2 is the last game of the season. It could mean
for sure, but
flip
side, it could mean everything.
It could. It certainly could.
Yep. I think those 2 are
with
the
how
big ones
stacked
for sure.
that area of the playoffs are right now. That could be the difference between being 5 and 3.
Yeah.
I
personally think the Spurs lose 1 game the rest of the way.
I would not bet against that prediction. You could argue for it being one of the Nuggets games. I think your point about the Clippers is fair. Beyond that, it would have to be a surprising loss, which is not out of bounds. No. It happens, but that wouldn't be my expectation. So I think your assumption is dead on. The Thunder need to go out and perform. I think the Lakers game on Thursday is one of the bigger ones down the stretch for this season. Turning around and having the LA back-to-back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Lakers, Clippers. That's obviously going to be very important as well. That one I'm a little less, I don't know. Like we said, when you start getting into the last week of the season, things can change quickly in terms of how a team is approaching the game. But this week, Thursday should be really fun against the Lakers. They always want it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Thunder are 17-2 in their last 19. They've beaten some really good teams in that stretch as well.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting, but ultimately the Thunder control their own destiny. And I love, Mark said maybe in a pregame interview the other day, like, if we have a new sense of urgency because the Spurs are on our heels, that means we weren't playing with urgency.
Yeah, I love
before, that. And that's a problem. And I don't think the Thunder are looking in the rearview mirror at all. No. I think they're just going to, obviously they know, right? And obviously they want the number 1 seed. But at the end of the day, I think they're just going to go out there and play. I don't think that they're losing the 1 seed to the Spurs. The Spurs could lose in the second round. And then it doesn't even matter. You still have the home court, right? You'd have home court in the finals probably. So it's we can argue it 6 ways to Sunday, I don't know at the end of the day, like, how big of an impact is that? It matters in the sense that if the Thunder make it to the Western Conference Finals, and if the Spurs make it to the Western Conference Finals, and if it goes 7 games, that's where that matters. And that's a lot of ifs.
But then it matters a lot, right? If all those ifs hit, it matters a lot, like we saw last year. But I think there's also a world in which the 2 seed side of the bracket is the preferable one, depending on how it all shakes out. Like there's no guarantee that the path.
The shakeout is crazy, though. We don't know what that's going to look like.
Exactly.
1 and 2 is kind of up for grabs. And then there's 3 games that separate 3 from 6.
Yep.
I think the play-in's pretty much set. It's just going to be the order in the play-in. 3 through 6 is set. It's just going to be the order of that. I mean, that's going to be up and down. It's going to be wild.
Speaking of wild, awful segue. Dave in the chat. Dave at the buzzer with the super chat saying, "Yo, came by to say hi. That's how I know we're getting close to the playoffs."
No kidding.
Dave.
It starts playoffs. I mean, playoffs will be in full swing a month from today.
Right around the corner.
It's crazy.
It is going to be really fun, though. Like, as enjoyable and relaxing as it was last year with the Thunder just having a ridiculous lead, it is going to keep us focused, us being the podcast, on the last 2 weeks of the season, right? You can't start looking ahead to the playoffs because there's going to be a lot to go through these last 8 games.
I think that's a great thing. I want them to have games of consequence against good teams coming down the stretch with their lineup finally intact. I think getting ramp up reps for the playoffs is pretty daggum important right now, considering this starting 5 has now played together a total of, what, are we still under 100 minutes?
Probably right around there. And hadn't all been good.
Yeah.
Right. Which is
this
why
is
you
a
need
chance
those reps.
to put it under pressure a little bit and work out some of those wrinkles.
Indeed. Should be fun.
Quick, I know we're about to get out of here, but I want to ask this real quick. I've been wanting to do this on a show we haven't gotten to. Maybe we'll do it next Sunday whenever the picture's a little bit clearer. Let's say the Thunder stay at the 1 seed. Golden State, Portland, Clippers, or Phoenix. Of those 4, which matchup do you like the most for them in round 1?
I've got an easy one to let Justin go first.
It was Golden State, Portland.
Yep. Golden State Warriors, Portland Trailblazers, LA Clippers, Phoenix Suns are the 4 playing teams.
Give me the Blazers.
Is that your answer, Nick?
Portland is historically awful at turning the ball over, and their offense is bottom 5 in the NBA. The Thunder would swallow that team in 4 games, and it wouldn't even be. It would be over in a flash.
Yeah, I agree.
For assuming San Antonio stays at 2, which would be why they'd have to lose every game to not be at 2 or 1.
They're in 2. At minimum.
Second round. Lakers, Nuggets, Wolves, Rockets.
Wolves would be the preferred. I think we know the matchup.
And the Wolves aren't as good as they were last year.
No, and I like, as fun as it's been, Bones Highland, no. Like, it's been fun to see him ball out. Like, it's not it.
It's Bones Highland and Ayo Dosunmu, who Ayo's great.
Yeah.
But man, Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been good, and
he's been really good
miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You go Wolves over Rockets, Nick?
Yes.
I was gonna say I think I agree with Nick, but I could talk myself into the Rockets in that pool as well. I just don't think that's a very structurally sound basketball team.
I just think the Rockets have the pieces that you could squint and see make work. Like KD can.
I think you
score
could squint and see him like win a game. But
well, I don't know. I mean, Şengün is when he's good, he's really good. And then Thompson has
the thing for me is like their niche in the league, their little corner that they had like claimed was the double big. We're just going to bludgeon you with offensive rebounds because we can't run half court offense to save our lives. And once Adams went out, I was like,
yeah,
I'm cool with this matchup.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
I still think they're better than the Wolves. Or
those
scarier.
Two are pretty close for me. Denver's at the bottom of the list, although Denver's not been good.
No.
I also think they would just wax the floor with the Lakers.
Yeah. We'll get this out there now. I agree with you. They would beat the Lakers in 5. That does not mean they'd beat the Lakers in March, because we've seen that story before.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Yeah, right.
Weird things happen in March. And
I don't know.
Rule of thumb, if in the year of our Lord 2026, if DeAndre Ayton has to play a significant role in your team, I do not like your odds.
Yeah.
That guy.
It's fair.
Few
I also think that weird things happen in the playoffs sometimes, and of those teams, this is going to sound crazy to say, but when it comes to playoff time and the options are Luka, Jokic, Ant, KD, I feel like KD is the least scary. Like, this guy could go off and really hurt the Thunder in the playoffs, which, like I said, it sounds crazy, but I think that's where I'm at. Like, Ant has the potential to win you a game or two on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic, we obviously know, can do that. Luka, I think, can also do that. KD can fill it up, but I don't know that he's going to win the series with that team.
I don't disagree with that logic, but I think if we did the same exercise for each team's second best player, third best player, fourth best player.
Oh, for sure. It's more than just the star power.
Yeah. I think Houston's collective group, I think Şengün is a better second option than Randall. I think Thompson is a better third option than McCain. I think you go on the list and you could, and we will do this, I'm sure, before the playoffs as we preview stuff, but it is interesting.
Absolutely.
Feels like a 3-team race in the West is all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. And it feels like it's maybe a 3-team race in the East.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens with Cade.
Yeah.
Hey, Toronto might. They only doubled up the Orlando Magic today. What a nightmare that
31-0 run.
I mean, there are people saying that the Desmond Bane trade was like the finals trade. Like that was the piece that was.
I picked him to win the East. Man.
I was gonna say, you mean like us?
All right, I think that's gonna do it for us, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, go subscribe to our social media channels. Sub to the YouTube page. Sign up for the Patreon. We've had a few new patrons join. It's $5 a month. You get access to our Discord, giveaways. We had a watch party Friday night against the Chicago Bulls. There's like 20 of us just hanging out in the chat, in the voice chat, watching NBA basketball in Discord together. We have a bonus Discord pod coming for our patrons in the next week, I believe. So lots of cool stuff for only $5 a month, and you get to be part of a really cool community. So if you're into that, I would encourage you to sign up for the Patreon. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or we will put the link in the pod description as well. So with the playoffs coming up, it's an awesome place to hang out and just talk ball. So I would encourage you to do that. Enjoy the Thunder versus the Pistons on Monday night, Thunder versus Lakers on Thursday night, and then we will be live with you after that Lakers game. So make sure to tune in. Have a great start to your week. We will talk to you guys then. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.